request the others to join. We'll appreciate. And we're also live on YouTube, Vivek. So we'll start in 2 minutes sharp.
Yes.
So how is today? I heard it was been raining, Vivek, in Chandigarh. The weather's nice.
Yes, about to rain. I think it's very dark outside. The clouds are hovering and breeze is blowing. So maybe it will rain. Day before also it rained heavily. Pretty heavy rain at night. So getting better.
Fantastic. And once again, good afternoon to the teachers, to every participant. And we'll be starting in 1 more minute. It is 3:29 by the watch for me, and we'll start at 3:30 sharp. So how is the weather in Gujarat, Joshi sir?
It's mix up, sir. The clouds are there, but the rain are not happy with us, so it is not raining.
Aigi, sir. I think it's a matter of time that it starts raining also. So I'm sure that is Gujarat is the heart of India. Is such a beautiful state, and we are all so proud of Gujarat.
Thank you, sir. There is a wonderful book behind the Atray, sir.
Autobiography of the Yogi.
Yes, wonderful book he has kept behind him.
You have saved 5 minutes of Atul's and my time. We were to talk about this, but you know already.
But we'll talk for the teachers, Vivek.
Please, sir. It will be the refresher course for me. Please, sir.
It is a wonderful book.
So I think it is 3:30 and about to get into 3:31. If you allow me, Vivek, Joshi sir, we should start.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Lovely. Sure. So good afternoon, participants. Good afternoon, teachers. Good afternoon, Vivek. Good afternoon, Mr. Joshi. Welcome to Ideas That Matter. Ideas That Matter are a series of workshops and webinars organized by Shulini University in Kasoli Hills, Himachal Pradesh. Vivek and I started this idea of Ideas That Matter around, I think now 12 weeks back. We have covered around, I think now 75 episodes, more than 100 schools and universities across India. And we have touched more than 100,000 schools so far. Our last event actually had Mr. Anupam Kher also join us in Ideas That Matter that we had on Saturday. So we really welcome Little Flower School today. We are delighted to speak to you and look at the beauty of technology. You're in Gujarat, Vivek is in Chandigarh, and I'm in Himachal. And we can all talk live. And that is the beauty of what technology does. My name is Atul Khosla. I am the founder and Pro-Vice Chancellor of Shulini University, Himachal Pradesh. We are a research-centric university, now one of India's top 10 universities. And it's my honor and delight to welcome all of you. As a quick background, I'm a BTech from IIT Kanpur, an MBA, and then spent 20 years in the industry working with different MNCs, after which I decided to start teaching. And I'm a very proud teacher now, like all of you. Vivek is also a teacher now. He's an ex-IAS officer, a TEDx speaker, motivational speaker, but for me, a very dear friend and a visiting professor at Shulini University in Solan, Himachal Pradesh. Vivek is also known for his leadership, where he brought in the IT park into Chandigarh, which is one of the few things that Chandigarh is also known for. So we'll be talking today to all of you on the topic of emotional intelligence, how emotional EQ is changing the world. Vivek, of course, is the master of that. The format for today would be Vivek speaking for around half an hour with me jutting in every now and then. And we'll then request all of you to ask questions, please. So there are two small little bubbles at the bottom. There's a Q&A or a chat. So do not, just don't hesitate to ask questions or chat with us. So with that, I will request our very dear friend Vivek to get on stage, take us through his wonderful journey, his perspective about EQ, emotional intelligence, and why it's so important for him. And I'll request at the end, Mr. Joshi, a very dear principal, to also join in the panel as we answer all your questions. Vivek, Atray, over to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Atul Khosla, and thank you very much, Mr. Joshi, for this warm welcome. And all your teachers, about 30 panelists are already there. Wonderful to see all of you there on live on this call. And this is a webinar which is a part of a series called Ideas That Matter, which Atul and I have been holding for the last several weeks. We have touched schools as far as Kolkata, and now we are very happy to be touching a school in Gujarat. And I believe your school is located in a beautiful area, not far from Vadodara, where I was there in December to speak at one of the Podar schools in a TEDx event. So I'm very familiar with your area, and one day, hopefully, we will actually meet instead of only electronically meeting. So, Mr. Joshi and colleagues of Mr. Joshi, I would like to start by saying that these opportunities to connect are very important in today's life, because we need to exchange ideas, we need to share our apprehensions or our ambitions. All of us are teachers. I am also, as Atul said, a teacher now. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a visiting professor at Shulini University, and I do go and speak on emotional intelligence, leadership, people skills, public speaking skills, and life skills. One of my, initially only I'll show you, my book has come on life skills. It is called Finding Success Within. It's a book on life skills for young students and young people, but not so young people can also have a look at it. Finding Success Within. And that is where I talk about emotional intelligence as a great part of this success, which we have to find within. So the first point I'd like to share with you is that happiness is the goal of life, not success. The goal of life is happiness, whether you are a teacher, an officer, or a business person. And if you are finding true happiness within, then your life is successful. You may not be the president of the United States. You may be a school teacher. You may be even an accountant, or you may be a professor or officer or a business person. Unless you win the battle inside, the within battle, you will not be successful. So what is money, power, and fame got to do with this? Money, power, and fame are material acquisitions. They are worldly. And people think that by getting money, power, and fame, we are successful. Well, they are important, but they are not as important as inner peace and calmness and happiness within. So emotional intelligence is the quality which helps us to realize this. Emotional intelligence is the ability to handle people and situations in a calm and balanced manner. So this I'll send you later also, but just to repeat the definition that I have, emotional intelligence is the ability to handle people and situations in a calm and balanced manner. What does it mean? It means that Daniel Goleman is the authority on emotional intelligence. So those who have studied psychology know Daniel Goleman, the 7 types of factors that he has for emotional intelligence. We won't get into all that. What we will get into is, the first thing is to be aware of what you are from within. Are you a restless person? Are you an angry person? Are you a calm person? Are you a cheerful person? Or are you an agitated or a normally impatient person? Most of us are a bit of both. We are sometimes extremely agitated and restless. At other times, we are calm and dignified and graceful. Some of us are somewhere in the middle. Most of us are not at the extremes. So what is the important factor? To recognize where you are. Whether I am an angry person, I should know it at least. Then the battle can be fought. If I am not even aware of my quality or my drawbacks, if I don't even know my drawbacks, then how will I know what to do? So my main endeavor and attempt should be to first find out where I stand at any stage of life. It could be any stage of life. You could be 40, you could be 50, you could be 20 or 30. It doesn't matter. Can be older also. Now, the second thing to know is that emotional intelligence means understanding others. If you understand yourself, then you have the ability to understand others also. Supposing somebody has come from Tamil Nadu For people from Chandigarh or from Gujarat, it's an unfamiliar state, largely. Somebody who comes from Tamil Nadu, speaking Tamil, and having a different mindset for us and for you will be different from us. Can we understand this person a little better and make the person feel comfortable in a new environment? Is a new colleague who eats sambar and idli with hand. In Himachal also people eat rice and dal with hand. In Haryana also I've seen. It is okay. But if we are the sorts who are from high society, we eat with spoons and we are very, very, touchy about things, we will not make this person feel comfortable. This person is eating lunch with us. We are staring or not very this thing. Children tend to be a little bit less comfortable with new people than grown-ups. Grown-ups are still more aware of their situation. But we have to make others feel comfortable, whether they are from any background. Could be poor, could be from a foreign country, could be from South India, North India, West India, East India, could be from a different language, culture, mindset, background, family background, could be a Fauji background compared to a business background. So whatever the other person is, we need to understand how to make the other person feel comfortable in our company. Then we have high emotional intelligence. If we are the sort who is self-centered, me, I, then I don't have high emotional intelligence at all. I'm thinking only about my goal, my job, my family, my food, my salary, my income, my car, my scooter. So I am a person who is very, very self-centered in that case. Whereas somebody who thinks of society, thinks of the poor, thinks of animals, thinks of trees, thinks of different things, is someone with a higher level of thinking. Intelligence and emotional intelligence are different things. Intelligence, having fun, is emotional intelligence. That is what Einstein said. Rather, creativity, he said, is intelligence having fun. And creativity is a factor in emotional intelligence. Creativity is something which gives you higher EQ. EQ is, of course, the measure of emotional intelligence. Just like IQ is a measure of intelligence, EQ is a measure of emotional intelligence. If you are creative, then also you have higher emotional intelligence because you are not routinized. My job, my accounts, my papers, my this, my class, my food. Apart from this, I also play the guitar. I also paint. I also write poetry. I also am a photographer. Then my emotional intelligence levels will go higher. Because I'm creative, my happiness index will go higher. Because I find outlets to get away from the problems and pressures of life. Who doesn't face problems and pressures in life? We are all grown-up teachers. I see now about 40 of you are there. You are all going through ups and downs of life. Everybody is. Life without ups and downs doesn't exist on this planet. You have to go through ups and downs. There is a saying in Africa, when the lion wakes up in the morning, the lion thinks I have to run fast because I have to catch the slowest gazelle. Gazelle is like a deer to survive, to eat. And the gazelle wakes up in the morning and thinks, I have to run fast because I have to run faster than the fastest lion in order to live. Now, when we get up in the morning, we are all in a competitive frame of mind. I have to do this, I have to do that. But if I am creative, if I am thinking differently out of the box, then I am someone who is able to change the norm a little bit and become a little different from others. One of the ways to do this is to practice calmness. Calmness is a superior quality. Calmness brings us to a state of mind which is superior. A restless, nervous, angry, irritated person is inferior to a calm, collected, balanced person. Whether this restless person is doing better in life than the calm person, it doesn't matter. What really matters is how your inner battle is. The inner battle is in the battle of the mind. An emotionally intelligent person understands how to control his or her emotions, when not to say what, when to say what and how, when to control the temper which is required to be controlled, when to speak firmly. Firmness is different from anger. Firmness is different from anger. Firmness means you are not to be taken lightly. I want this job done by 5 p.m. tomorrow. That is firmness. But if I am losing my temper, throwing things, angry, restless, agitated, short tempered, abusive, then I'm not firm. I'm a terrible leader. Of course, we are human. We will lose our temper at times. We will lose our cool at times. We will lose our emotional intelligence also at times. We will say things that we regret later. But we are human to do that sometimes. We keep improving. We keep looking at ourselves in the mirror of introspection. One of the ways to improve is meditation. I'll talk about meditation after Atul gives his inputs. I'm going to request Atul Khosla to come back on screen and speak about his ideas on emotional intelligence and also about Shulini University a little. Yes, Atul.
Thank you very much, Vivek. So inspiring as always.
Thank you.
I'd like to bring in the concept of the right brain as we speak about EQ. We all know about IQ and we focused on IQ all our lives. And that's about using the left brain. We all use the left brain all the time. We remember and we've learned through our childhood to remember things. Now let's look at the right brain. The right brain, Vivek, is so amazingly intelligent. The right brain, unfortunately, we don't use that much, apart from, of course, the artists and the others. And I'm going to use a small trick, which I talk about all the time. Let's see how powerful the right brain is. Let's think about a 20-digit number. 1-854-632-1-897-543-64589. I can almost guarantee that none of you can recite this or remember this. Even if you try for 20 minutes about it, you can't, because the brain, which is the left side of the brain, is a bad boy, is not as intelligent as the right side of the brain. Now let's look at the right side of the brain. Let's think about a music tune, some tune, any tune that you all sung 20 years back. 20 years back, or for the last 20 years, you have never sung that song. So think about it for 10 seconds. And I can't sing very well, Vivek, but I'll still hum a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
Gunkuna rahe hain bhavre khil rahi hai kali kali. Anyway, excuse my very bad singing, but imagine, despite 20 years between me and the song, I remember the tune till the nanosecond. I remember right up to the nanosecond. And that's the beauty of the right side of the brain. That's the beauty of creativity. And if we as teachers start using stories to tell our experiences, start using stories and gaming to teach, our students can become so much better human beings. And here I'm going to start talking about the concept of inspiration. We as teachers are in the business of inspiration, Vivek, not just learning. मेरा belief है कि if students के में आग लग जाए, they say fire in the belly, एक बार inspire हो जाए, then magic automatically happens. There is no fun making a 99.9% student successful because the student is self-motivated. The trick for a teacher is, can you take someone who's so-called average in the traditional context, make this ordinary student extraordinary? And this happens through inspiration. And inspiration is such an important part of emotional intelligence, I believe. EQ, by the way, or emotional intelligence, also comes from great spaces. It also comes from being happy. So if you're in a great place, you're in a great weather, you're in an inspiring place, then inspiration flows and magic happens. I'm going to tease all of you because I live in a very beautiful part of India, right in the middle of the Himalayas, in the middle of a pine forest, with streams flowing nearby. and 20 degrees Celsius as I speak. I don't have the fan even on right now, and I could have worn a light sweater because it's so beautiful out here. But I'm going to show you a small video about Shulini, which will make you guys feel very jealous. Vivek, if you allow me.
Please go ahead.
So the moment you live in beautiful places, Vivek, with beautiful people, and if your friends, your family, your near and dear ones are beautiful, and they do not bring ill will to you, EQ automatically goes up. I'm going to talk a bit more about EQ when I come back again, but right now, over to you, Vivek.
Thank you, Atul, and fabulous video on Shulini University. I can tell everybody who's watching that it's one of the most beautiful campuses in India and so inspiring. Halfway up the hill to Shimla, at about 1.5 hours from Chandigarh, where I live. I go there and teach and speak. Lovely to go there and absolutely spend time. So coming to teachers, teachers are required to have high emotional intelligence because they are interacting with parents and students and colleagues. It's absolutely important because people are always after you in some way. You're interacting, you are being watched. Young students who are watching teachers, they learn from them because they see how they carry themselves, how they walk, how they speak, how they whether they maintain their temper or lose their temper. And what is also important is the kind of positivity that teachers have. So your teaching is not as actually important as how you are. And being school teachers, especially, the young children will really be influenced by your personality. And these young children are growing in an age where they get a lot of influence of outside information and pressures. So teachers are the ones who are becoming their friends and sounding boards, and it's important for them to have a great rapport with the students. So inspiring the students becomes one of the things that teachers have to do. Highly emotionally intelligent people know how to handle which student also. A student who is shy, a student who is aggressive, a student who is brilliant, a student who is average. So one has to mold one's personality and way of talking and way of interacting according to that student and that situation. This is what emotional intelligence is. So we also can control our own worries and fears through emotional intelligence. Worries and fears are the result of a lot of overthinking. Overthinking is not good for us. Especially in this lockdown and this pandemic, a lot of people have spent too many hours overthinking about this may happen, that may happen, this may go wrong, that may go wrong. So it's not really worth it. What is important is to remain calm and balanced and remain cheerful. Cheerfulness is one of the traits also of emotional intelligence. A person who is cheerful has the ability to make others also cheerful. A person who is not so cheerful is someone who is always cribbing and complaining. If I am a complainer, or I am a person who keeps on, all the time just criticizing others, then I am not really living a happy life, nor is anyone around me. At home also, we may have someone like that. At school or college or office, we may have someone like that, or we may have someone like that in our vicinity or company. So a friend who is like that, we need to tell that friend that you stop now complaining. Let's talk something positive. I'll give you a lighter incident because I'm talking about being cheerful also. So one day they were, they're in a park in a local town, any town. There was this group of ladies who would sit and talk and chatter and have a good time every evening, 5:30 or 6 o'clock. After their walk, they would sit down and have a gupchup, which is known as gupshup. 10 or 12 of them used to be there. And these 5 or 6 walkers, other ladies maybe or gents, they are walking around and they see them, they hear them every day, they are chatting and lots of sound is coming from the group. One day they are all sitting very quiet. Very quiet. It's not like they are serious or anything. They are otherwise smiling, but very quiet, not talking. So somebody is crossing by, walking by, and is used to the lot of talking and ask them, what is the reason? Why are you so quiet today? So one of them says, we are all quiet today because nobody is absent. We are all present. What does it mean? It means who do we speak about? Who do we gossip about? Who do we talk about? So if that is the kind of attitude, of course, in a group, it's a good fun thing also at times. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But if we are the sorts who are always cribbing and complaining, then we need to take a reality check. What is the purpose of our life? The purpose of life is to spread happiness, be happy. Sometimes we can be critical. Sometimes we can be upset. Sometimes we can be negative. But most of the time, we have to remain positive. Now, meditation, I'll just touch upon. Meditation helps us morning and evening. If we do it, even 10 minutes will help. Those of you who already meditate, best wishes to you. Wonderful. Those of you who don't, you must start. Don't wait for retirement. I took voluntary retirement 10 or 12 years before my service ended, and I'm very happy I did. Gives me more time to be a motivational speaker, more time to be meditating, more time to read books and write and whatever I do. By the way, I have 25 lakh views on YouTube. You can watch my TEDx talks. I have 8 TEDx talks. I have 3 Josh talks. When you search me on YouTube after this webinar sometime, you can show your youngsters in the family or your school students my talks. They will be useful. And Atul and I actually have about 60 such webinars already on YouTube. So you will read and you will watch different topics being discussed with other schools. You can also watch those. Lots to understand. So coming to the point there, meditation is something which you must bring in early in your life and keep it with you. Because if you meditate, you will find it easier to handle life situations and your calmness will increase. Calmness means physical health also improves, mental health improves, spiritual health improves. And if your spiritual health improves, then your meditation is leading to a great big change in your life. So meditation, I have learned from this book. This is autobiography of a yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda, famous guru of India. His picture is also behind me today. It's the last smile, they call it, of Yogananda. And this is a book which you can read even as a book or just a story or autobiography. Even that is good. But if you go deeper into it, maybe read it slowly in grain or maybe read it again after 1 year, then you realize the truth behind it. And there are lessons of meditation that the organization founded by him sends. I'll type out the organization later. You can subscribe to the lessons and meditate. Or you can follow any path that you like. It is up to you, your religion, your path, your spirituality. and you sit and meditate whenever you can. If you have some techniques of meditation, it helps. Emotional intelligence, calmness, creativity are all friends of meditation. Meditation is a friend of all of them. And that is something that you must understand. Becoming a better teacher, a better human being. We are not perfect. All of us are imperfect. Maybe some little bit, some more. We have to be as close to perfection as possible. It's no point going through life just being what we are. If we were a little bad in 20s, we can become a little better in 30s or 40s. So there are so many things to improve upon. And I've seen many, many, many people from all walks of life in my IAS career also. I remember somebody walked into my office when I was a young officer, and he was obviously a testing person, challenging personality. He was not hopeful of getting his work done from my office. And he would come, he was a politician. He would say that nothing is happening, you can't help me, but I have come with my application. However, I have no hope. I told him, we have no hope, why have you come? I was new. But he had met many, many SDMs before me, and Kalka was the place. He had not got justice, and he was right, but he was very disgruntled and very unhappy. So I was a young officer, 26 years old, I guess, and I talked to him saying, of course, it will be done in 2 days, but it wasn't so easy. 2 months later, he comes, he says, Dekha, nothing has been done. Then I realized this is a tough one. So I got my team to sit down, and within 2 days or 1.5 days, the job was done. Then I realized how this person's life can be changed by careful understanding. Understanding others, understanding the situation, understanding people. That is something very, very. People skills are vital. Whatever computers you use or machine you use, unless you have people skills, there is no way that you can succeed. So the last point I'll tell you before I hand over to Atul is cricket team. MS Dhoni is somebody who is an example of a captain who has emotional intelligence, high emotional intelligence. He will not react too much when a wicket falls and he's on the captain fielding side. He will not be too unhappy when he gets out. He's okay. He knows tomorrow will come. And you have to keep on keeping on. So balance your life. Be positive, be cultured, be calm, and then you will succeed with high emotional intelligence. Atul, over to you. And we'll come back. I'll come back with a couple of slides at the very end.
Thank you, Vivek. I think before we open it up for question and answers, I have a few last thoughts to give the lovely audience over here. So before I actually get into that, please ask questions if you have any, or you can comment over here. Vivek and I would love to answer those. So I think the last thought I'd like to leave you lovely teachers is the fact that as you think about successful students, think about also giving EQ into them or emotional intelligence into them. And the reason is very simple. If you think about successful people going forward, they're not going to be people with tons and tons of intelligence. Intelligence can possibly be replicated through robots, through artificial intelligence. But the traits which will make people succeed are going to be the softer skills. I call these me and we skills. When Mr. Joshi, Vivek, I, or any of you were growing up, I think knowledge and ability to learn were probably at a premium. People who could think better were probably more likely to succeed. I think the world is changing now, and me and we skills are more important. So what are me skills? Me skills are the ability to lead. Me skills are the ability to learn, the ability to unlearn, the ability to problem solve. And we skills are the ability to collaborate, the ability to work with people, the ability to become a team player. And if we have these me and we skills, I think success is going to touch all of us. I'm going to bring in an example of a very dear student of mine. Her name is Aman. She comes from a lesser privileged family, was a very tough student, was not very successful in the traditional sense. And that magic happened when she joined the doctorate or her PhD program. She started working on a water-based purification process. She's discovered a molecule which, when enters water, kills bacterial activity by 99.95%. She's won, based on this, something called the Young Water Fellowship. It's a UN fellowship. More than 100,000 students across the world, whether it's the IITs or Harvard or MIT, apply for it. And she's won a Tata Trust fellowship of 25 lakhs. So what makes Aman so successful? I think it's about the amazing leadership her guide gave her and the collaborative tools she used to speak to charismatic people across the world. I'm going to show a small video on Aman so that you can yourselves understand the importance of the work that she has done and the amazing power of emotional intelligence. So Vivek, if you allow me, can I play this?
Yeah, please.
So Vivek, if you really want to change the world, if we really want to do something exceptional for ourselves, for society, for our students, my one last thought is think outside the box. Be crazy when you think outside the box. As Steve Jobs would say, because the people who are crazy enough to think who can change the world are the ones who do. So let's be crazy. Let's think outside the box. Let's bring in EQ into everything we do. Let's bring EQ into our students, and the world will be a way better place and a way more enjoyable place than what it is today. Vivek, for your last thoughts.
Thank you, Atul. In fact, I'm going to just show a slide which is here just to kind of emphasize the points that I have mentioned to you. Here we have it. Yeah. So here we have the takeaways from this session. Emotional intelligence is important for, firstly, seeing the bigger picture of life is very, very important. And if you understand the bigger picture, the journey of life, the goal is happiness, and being creative, being happy, spreading happiness is something we forget because we are busy with various things. Ability to handle stress and pressure, remain calm. Number 3 is also a calmer demeanor, calmer conduct, behavior. Improved understanding of colleagues, friends, family, relationships. Younger people need more. Even older people need to understand their relationships. And emotional intelligence gives us that ability. Balance leadership skills. We are all leaders as teachers. We are leading the students, leading colleagues, leading others in society. So balance and a positive personality. Reduce tendency towards anger. Anger is something which is not our friend. Anger is something which causes harm to us. And therefore being cheerful instead of irritable. If we can have all these qualities, then of course we are somewhere, but we need to improve. And if we try and improve a little bit more than we otherwise would, then definitely we are doing well in life. So these are my requests to you. This is what I had, and we can probably take a couple of questions, and Atul would like to call Joshiji back. I'll just add one more story, Atul, if you don't mind. This
Absolutely.
is a story of that teacher who had a student who was with one arm. I'd like to just repeat that. In fact, in this webinar, obviously, it hasn't been heard. There was a student who had only one arm, and he went to judo master, and the judo master taught him one move for 6 months, because he knew that this boy cannot learn anything else. And that boy became perfect in that one move. And he was a student with such a big disability, but he learned to move perfect. Now this master took him to participate in a tournament. And in that tournament, there were boys obviously fully fit and with two arms, and they could beat him. But he won the first bout with that one move. He won the second bout also with the one move. And the third bout, it was difficult, but he won again. And he was in the final. And the final was a bigger boy who was really strong. He had no chance against him. However, somehow he turned the tables in the last 2 minutes. He pinned him down with that one move, and that boy could not get out of it, and he won the final. The master and the boy were going back home, and this boy asked the master, "Now will you teach me another move?" He says, "No, you don't need any other move." He says, "Only one move is enough for you, because this is the only move in judo where the opponent needs to pin you down with your right arm, and you don't have a right arm." So this is the learning of life, how you can make make a victory out of a disability, or make an opportunity from something that you lack. If students can be inspired with stories like this, it will also help you in your teaching career and your own career. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Super inspiring. I mean, many times when disasters hit us, we take it so negatively, and these type of stories are so inspirational. So I think till questions come in from the audience, I had a couple of thoughts, a couple of questions, which I think pretty much everyone would ask you all the time, which is, tell us why you left the IAS and what's the secret of your EQ.
Okay. Thank you, Atul, for that question. It's a lovely question for me to answer. I left the IAS because I became a motivational speaker in the IAS, and I started speaking once a month or once in 2 months while being busy in the work. But I would give a speech here and there, and on YouTube also. I had TEDx talks already as an IAS officer. So I realized I have more potential, and I can influence lives. Now I'm speaking to teachers in Gujarat through your Shulini University. I am a visiting professor at Shulini. I go and speak to students there. I go to Chennai. I go elsewhere. So I can do much more, I realized, and I was right. I am very happy I came out. And the second part of the question about a high EQ, well, I don't know. You are saying it, so I will believe you that I have a high EQ. The thing is that I have improved by conscious efforts, and conscious efforts on, firstly, I recognize that sometimes I lose my temper. And I used to, about 5-7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I used to have a very shooting up temperature, and then it would come down, and I would lose my temper and cool down. But now I don't. It's somehow become easier. Meditation, which I mentioned, has really helped me. And I think that is overall also the reason why I'm calmer and with better emotional intelligence than before.
So I want to speak about this topic of meditation. And Joshi sir is from Gujarat. I think there's so many great gurus who've come from Gujarat, including Mahatma Gandhi. So Joshi sir, are you into meditation? I think you are, because your face glows. It shows that you are into meditation.
You also read the autobiography of a yogi, Joshi ji?
Yeah. So tell us about your journey, Joshi sir, about what gives you such great emotional intelligence, and how are you using meditation?
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm a very specific person, so I want to share one thought about whatever you people today deliver. I think the punchline was, the success is not important, the happiness is more important. If we catch this punchline in our life, then everything will be settled down.
Okay.
And the more important thing is, what are the ways to take this thought in ourselves, to inculcate this thought in ourselves? there is only a single way: understand other people's and meditation. This only the two simple ways which I understand. So I think it is enough for today. And as a teacher, as just now you also share one Aman story, and sir has told a story about the student who does not have a one arm. If we write this story on our notice board every day we read, then I think our our 80% problems will be automatically solved. And not only problem solved, but we will also inspire. And as and when you told one student inspire, again I repeat, if one student inspire, he can be the star of the country, he can be the star of the school. So I think what I learned today from this seminar, I will try to understand every people, every situation, and if I am able to handle that both the thing as you have started with, what is emotional intelligence? If we can handle the situation in calmness, then everything will be the royal road for all of us. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So beautifully said. So beautifully said. Vivek, couple of questions. Chandana ma'am is asking, when I teach at school, I am calm and I am composed, but when I go back home, I'm not able to show the same calmness for my own child. Why? How do I maintain this calmness?
Yes, yes. So I've learned this through my spiritual readings. There is something known as attachment. Attachment to the child is obviously, your child is obviously greater than attachment to the students. We are human, so it's natural, it's okay. It has to be like that. Your own child is dearer to you than anything else. So you don't have the same calmness with your own child because you feel hurt when the child does not perform as you want, or behave as you want, or improve as you want. That is personal to you. So that is where we are tested with our own children, with our own family, with our own setbacks, drawbacks. So I think what you need to practice is meditation will help you. Practice calmness. Yogananda ji said, be calmly active and actively calm. Joshi ji, you can add to the list of takeaways this one. Be calmly active and actively calm. So we have to be active, but calmness will help you to correct the child with patience, with understanding, and you will talk to the child in a better way. You will control your temper. If you're losing your temper 10 times a day, write down the reasons for it. Tomorrow, try and strike off 5 reasons out of 10. At least half the reasons will go away. Realize that these are not worth it. So try and practice offline when you are not in that situation. Then you have to tell yourself that next time I will not do this. Then you'll be better prepared.
Absolutely. I think I learned this word attachment. वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं जिससे बहुत प्यार करते हैं तो गुस्सा भी उसी पे आता है. So I think that's the challenge we have. We have Krishna asking, I don't know whether it's Krishna ma'am or Krishna sir, how to deal with an aggressive child.
Yeah, so I'll probably start, and Atul, you may like to add later.
No, but before that, I have to tell everyone that Vivek also runs a toddler school, which his mother started. So whatever he speaks about comes from that experience also. Vivek,
Yes,
over to you.
yes. Toddler school, which my mother started and my wife runs it. It's a preschool in Panchkula, where I live near Chandigarh. And it's a JPA Toddlers World School. So dealing with aggressive children, what my wife tells me, because she's the principal of that school, she tells me that some children, they bite, they pull each other's hair, they hit each other. They are 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds. It probably comes from atmosphere at home, unfortunately. So these young little children, they become aggressive at that point because their parents are aggressive. Atul, I must tell you that a young girl called me from Bala one day, messaged me. My parents keep fighting with each other. I am now 17 years old or 18 or something she was. He says, I am also getting to be like them, but I recognize that I am a short-tempered girl because my parents are also like that. So I said, you have to work on yourself. You cannot work on your parents. And you have to try and forgive them for what they are doing, but detach yourself. It's very difficult, extremely difficult. And how will you deal with an aggressive child? You have to work on that child when the child is calm. At some point, when the child quietens down or is not aggressive at that time, talk to him. When he sees some sense, tell him a story or tell her some inspiring example that next time you lose your temper or get aggressive, you must understand that it is wrong for you. I mean, children are very, very capable of understanding if we talk to them like that. So I think you need to talk to the children when they are okay, when they are not aggressive at that time. Atul?
Excellent. How would you deal with an aggressive child, Joshi sir?
Joshi ji.
It depends. It depends very clearly. Aggressive in what sense? If he has, as sir has mentioned, is he's beating somebody or he is interested to break something, then there is a two-way only. As sir has told, when he is calm, that time we can talk to him. Or other way, we can deliver the motivation, or sometime we call the parents to judge them why this student is there, because my personal belief is that student is never wrong, something comes from the home, something comes from the genetically, and something he has observed, which he has carried in his brain, and therefore he is doing like this. And the most important thing from my point of view, if we give a lot of activity to him, if his energy has diverted in another way, then he will never become aggressive.
Wonderful.
In fact, one of the things we are experimenting at our university, Vivek, which might be relevant even in schools, is to bring in spirituality and meditation to students. Students initially hate it. You know, you make them sit in a stance, right, and they make them do some basic breathing. Initially, you know, in the modern world, we don't see them as positive things. But over time, you'll be surprised, Vivek, 90 to 95% of the students perceive it as very positive. Dalai Lama once made a statement. He said, if we bring meditation to students starting from age 5, the world will not have terrorists anymore.
Absolutely.
So that is another, I think, thing that we can do. We can help them learn these exercises of deep breathing, less sermons, but I think more around the scientific techniques of meditation. I think that can really help. Make them play. I think what's also happening right now, Krishna ji, is that people are spending too much time on video games or PUBG, or they're not exhausting their energy levels. I think that's what you were mentioning, Joshi ji. So make them play, get them into hobbies. Hobbies, not because they have to become number one in dancing, which is also a big craze nowadays. Every parent wants their child to, become a super achiever. Let them do hobbies because they are fun. Let them do hobbies because they enjoy that. And I think the school can play a big important role. Again, we're experimenting with this, where we are saying, pick up a course, pick up a hobby that you like to do, not something that the world wants you to do. So that could be one, I think, particular thing that you can also do. But I mean, there are multiple techniques. I'm speaking to the popes right now because you are the popes, you are the experts on how to deal with aggressive children. There's one question from Shobhna ma'am: how to bring the mobile addicted child to be calm on the way to medication. So on to the path of meditation, not medication. She's changed it. So if there's a mobile, there's a student who's addicted to the mobile. How do you get him or her into meditation? Vivek, have you tried that ever?
Yeah, I think it's something that is quite normal these days. People are addicted to mobiles. Even we are addicted to mobiles as grown-ups, and our lives spent on virtual reality. But it is useful to an extent. What needs to be done with students is actually parents need to be counseled for very young children, that they have to not start them off very early, but they cannot. Parents are busy, they give them a mobile to keep them quiet. That's how they start. And a mobile addicted child can only be enforced to not have the mobile for 1 hour, maybe at the prime time, or at another hour. These are 2 hours when you are not on your mobile. Only then. And meditation, if it is being done by the whole family or by the class, then obviously the mobile addicted child also has to join that meditation. And when he's sitting down for 10 minutes with you, alone he will not sit. With you, if he sits, then that will benefit.
I think it's the last question. We're coming to an end. Abhishek sir is asking how to deal with slow learner students who are slow learners.
I think
How
Atul,
to deal with that, Vivek?
better place to answer this, Atul or Joshi ji.
I think the two, three things that we do, Abhishek sir, one is at Shulani, we don't believe in slow and fast learners. So we have homogeneous sections. So we don't segregate our students into a fast section and a slow section or a section or a B section. We believe that it is homogenization of sections that make people learn, because what you call a slow learner might actually have very strong EQ. He might not have strong IQ, might have very strong EQ, or could be very strong in art or some other particular skill. And diversity actually creates both IQ and EQ among students. So that's, I think, first thing which I would like to say. Apart, unless that student has got some mental challenges, some physical challenges, apart from that, each one of us has a special skill. Each one of us was born with that, because that's what genetics is all about. And Joshi sir spoke about it. So I think that's the first thing I would do. I think the second thing I would also do with so-called slow learners would also to help them. We have a very strong mentor-mentee relationship at our university. So I think and we also have a buddy system. So I think children also learn from seniors. So you could experiment with that at your school if you don't have that already, where you can have senior students guiding your junior students. Then remedial classes, of course. So personally, I'm very, very against tuitions that students are sent to nowadays by their parents. I believe tuitions are a waste of time. I never went to a tuition, Vivek, ever, but I still made it to IIT. I think every student can do that. So, but my school had a very strong mentor-mentee relationship. Then informal teaching. Slow learners, if you think they are learning slow, they might not be paying attention in the class. So you might want to spend time with them, make an interest in the subject for them. So tell them interesting things about the subject. I'll give a small example over here, Vivek. I was very, very good in most subjects, pretty much every subject, but Hindi. So look at the irony. I sort of scored more than 90% marks in every subject in my 10th standard, and I scored 48 marks in Hindi just because I was least interested in Hindi. And I was least interested because I just started thinking that it's useless. While that was a stupid thing. I mean, 3 marks less and I could have failed, right? I could have spoiled my career. But that's what students do. So I think these 3-4 things one can do but I would request, let's not call them slow learners. They'll be fast learners in something else and slow learners in some particular area. So I think that's probably the way we can sort of manage it. So I think we're coming to an end, Vivek, and as I always do, I'm going to ask both Joshi sir and Vivek sir to summarize the last thoughts. The trick here is you're only allowed one sentence, okay? 8 words. So this time I'm going to put 8 words.
Okay.
So your last 8 words, Vivek, and after that we'll ask Joshi sir to give his last 8 words. Your 8 words,
Thank
Vivek.
you, Atul. That's 2 words, 6 more words to go. And the thing is that we should stay connected and we should stay calm. And I like Joshi sir's first name is Krutarth, I just noticed, which means grateful. So be grateful also in life, very important.
So stay connected, stay calm, and be grateful. Wonderful. Joshi sir?
I want to repeat the Atray sir's sentence. Calmly active and actively calm. Thank you.
So wonderfully said. I think
Yogananda
it's
ji, from
it's
Yogananda.
Yogananda ji's words, and so beautiful. My last words would be from the movie Lion King, Hakuna Matata, don't worry, be happy. I know these are very tough times. Corona will go, but if you lose your happiness, I think it's going to be difficult to get it back. So be happy, keep smiling, look into the mirror. For all the lovely ladies out there, if you smile is great for the skin too. So it's also great for the wrinkles. So keep smiling, be happy, and have a lovely, lovely day. I'm so delighted to be here today. You're an amazing person, Joshi ji. I mean, the way you've synthesized things, I'm so, so, so impressed with your school. Would love to come over and would love to invite you over to Shulani. Thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.